Poets are famous for their skill with words, and this isn't just seen in their poetry but often in their correspondence too. Letters allow poets much more structural freedom than poems, meaning that the only restriction is their relationship with the receiver. So with Valentine's Day around the corner, here is my selection of some of the most beautiful love letters written by poets. First World War poets Wilfred Owen and Siegfried Sassoon met in November 1917 in a neurasthenic hospital in Edinburgh. Sassoon, the older of the two, was already a successful poet, and Owen was a great admirer of the man and his work. It took him a month to work up the courage to approach Sassoon, but once he did, the pair began a very intimate friendship, with some speculating that they were more than just friends. Whatever existed between them, it was certainly love. And after Owen's premature death in 1918, he would remain important to Sassoon for the rest of his life. On his own deathbed, he believed that Owen had come back to him, and they were writing poetry together again. Letter from Wilfred Owen to Siegfried Sassoon, 27th of November 1917. My dear Sassoon, when I had opened your envelope in a quiet corner of the club staircase, I sat on the stairs and groaned a little, and then went up and loosed off a gourd, gothic vacuum of a letter, which I put by, as you would recommend for such effusions, until I could think over the thing without grain. I have also waited for this photograph. Show some rich anger if you will. I thank you, but not on this paper only or in any writing. You gave, with what Christ, if he had known Latin and dealt in oxymoron, might have called sinister dexterity. I imagine you were entrusting me with some holy secret concerning yourself. A secret, however, it shall be, until such time as I shall have climbed to the housetops and you to the minarets of the world. Smile the penny. This fact has not intensified my feelings for you by the least grain. Know that since mid-September, when you still regarded me as a tiresome little knocker on your door, I held you as Keats, plus Christ, plus Elijah, plus my colonel, plus my father confessor, plus Amenophis 4 in profile. What's that mathematically? In effect it is this, that I love you, dispassionately, so much, so very much, dear fellow, that the blasting little smile you wear on reading this can't hurt me in the least. If you consider what the above names have severally done for me, you will know what you are doing, and you have fixed my life, however short. You did not light me. I was always a mad comet, but you have fixed me. I spun round you a satellite for a month, but I shall swing out soon, a dark star in the orbit where you will blaze. It is some consolation to know that Jupiter himself sometimes swims out of ken. To come back to our sheep, as the French never say, I have had a perfect little note from Robert Ross, and have arranged a meeting at 12:30 on November 9th. He mentions staying at Half Moon Street, but the house is full. What I miss most in Edinburgh, not Craig and Lockhart, is the conviviality of the four boys. Elle vivre, to live. Some day I must tell how we sang, shouted, whistled and danced through the dark lanes through Collington, and how we laughed till the meteors showered around us, and we felt calm under the winter stars, and some of us saw the pathway of the spirits for the first time, and seeing it so far above us, and feeling the good road so safe beneath us, we praised God with louder whistling, and knew we loved one another as no men love for long. Which, if the bridge players Craig and Lockhart could have seen, they would have called down the wrath of Jehovah, and buried us under the fires of the city you wot of. To which also it is time you committed this letter. I wish you were less undemonstrative, for I have many adjectives with which to qualify myself. As it is, I can only say I am your proud friend, Owen. Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Robert Browning wrote to Elizabeth Barrett in 1845, expressing his love for her and her poetry. This sparked one of the greatest literary courtships of all time. Elizabeth, who was the more famous poet of the two, suffered with health problems all her life and was forbidden to marry by her father. Robert, however, would prove to be something of a ray of light in her existence, and the pair fell quickly in love, eventually marrying and having a son together. Elizabeth would pass away due to her deteriorating health later on, dying in her husband's arms. He would never marry again. Robert Browning to Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Sunday, March 16th, 1846. How will the love my heart is full of for you let me be silent? Insufficient speech is better than no speech in one regard. The speaker had tried words, and if they fail, hereafter he needs not reflect that he did not even try. So with me now, that loving you, Bar, with all my heart and soul, all my senses being lost in one wide, wondering gratitude and veneration, I press close to you to say so, in this imperfect way, my dear, dearest beloved. Why do you not help me, rather than take my words, my proper word from me, and call them yours, when yours they are not? You said lately love of you made you humble, just as if to hinder me from saying that earnest truth. Entirely true it is, as I feel ever more convincingly. You do not choose to understand it should be so, nor do I much care, for the one thing you must believe, must resolve to believe in its length and breadth, is that I do love you, and live only in the love of you. I will rest on the confidence that you do believe. You know by this that it is no shadowy image of you, and not you, which having attached myself to in the first instance, I afterward compelled my fancy to see reproduced, so to speak, with tolerable exactness to the original idea in you, the dearest, real you I am blessed with. You know what the eyes are to me, and the lips, and the hair, and I, for my part, know now, while fresh from seeing you, certainly know, whatever I may have said a short time since, that you will go on to the end, that the arm round me will not let me go over such a blind abyss. I refuse to think, to fancy towards what it would be to lose you now. So I give my life, my soul into your hand. The giving is a mere form too, it is yours, ever yours from the first, but ever as I see you, sit with you, and come away to think over it all, I find more that seems mine to give. You give me more life, and it goes back to you. I shall hear from you tomorrow then. I will go out early and get done with some calls, in the joy and consciousness of what waits me, and when I return I will write a few words. Are these letters, these merest attempts at getting to talk with you through the distance, yet always with the consolation of feeling that you will know all, interpret all, and forgive it and put it right? Can such things be cared for, expected as you say? Then, Bar, my life must be better, with the closeness to help and the finding out the way, for which love was always noted. If you begin making in fancy a lover to your mind, I am lost at once. But the one quality of affection for you, which would sooner or later have to be placed on his list of component graces, that I will dare start supply. The entire love you could dream of is here. You think you see some of the other adornments, and only too many, and you will see plainer one day, but with that I do not concern myself. You shall admire the true heroes, but me you shall love for the love's sake. Let me kiss you, you my dearest, dearest, God bless you ever. Ah. John Keats and Fanny Brawne. The tragic life of English Romantic poet John Keats is well documented. From a life filled with grief, poverty, death and illness, he found peace and love in his beautiful neighbour, Miss Brawne. Though the shadow of Keats's premature death hung over their courtship, they loved as passionately and purely as any, and Keats's love letters to Fanny remain some of the most famous love letters in the English language. It took months for the news of Keats's death in 1821 to reach the 22-year-old Miss Brawne, and when it did, she stayed in mourning for the next 6 years. John Keats to Fanny Brawne, 13th of October 1819. My dearest girl, this moment I have set myself to copy some verses out fair. I cannot proceed with any degree of content. I must write you a line or two and see if that will assist in dismissing you from my mind for ever so short a time. Upon my soul I can think of nothing else. The time is past when I had power to advise and warn you against the uncompromising mourning of my life. My love has made me selfish. I cannot exist without you. I am forgetful of everything but seeing you again. My life seems to stop there. I see no further. You have absorbed me. I have a sensation at the present moment as though I was dissolving. I should be exquisitely miserable without the hope of soon seeing you. I should be afraid to separate myself far from you. My sweet Fanny, will your heart never change? My love, will it? I have no limit now to my love. Your note came in just here. I cannot be happier away from you. 'Tis richer than an argosy of pearls. Do not threat me, even in jest. I have been astonished that men could die martyrs for religion. I have shuddered at it. I shudder no more. I could be martyred for my religion. Love is my religion. I could die for that. I could die for you. My creed is love, and you are its only tenet. You have ravished me away by a power I cannot resist, and yet I could resist till I saw you. And even since I have seen you, I have endeavoured often to reason against the reasons of my love. I can do that no more. The pain would be too great. My love is selfish. I cannot breathe without you. Yours forever, John Keats.